2, 3-2. The Oilers win it in overtime in St. Louis to kick off a brief 2-game road trip through America's Midwest. Yes, indeed. Just like everybody knew he would. Connor Brown with the game winner. Hernan, Salas, and I are laughing because we will share what was said here at the EST studios prior to the goal being scored. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas with you inside the EST Global HQ. Shawn Belle will be joining us shortly to break it all down. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Get in on the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. And then, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell your friends, as Reed Wilkins likes to say, and hit that thumbs up. Get into the nasty chat as well. Nan, so this board is hot?
Sure is.
Thank you. Good. Okay, so the Oilers improved to 33, 16, and 4. They take sole possession of first in the Pacific because the Golden Knights lost in regulation on the island to the Islanders. And so this ends up being a very good night for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I'm not going to use the exact words that Hernan did in the studio, but right before McDavid slid the puck to Connor Brown for the game-winning goal, he said, "Why the expletive is Connor Brown on the ice?" I said nothing, watched him score and looked at him and said, "That's why." And Connor Brown to Hernan Salas.
Damn!
Put on those CSI Miami glasses, David Caruso style. Well done. Well done, Connor Brown.
Well, I had some, like, he hadn't scored in 21 games.
I know.
Like, Tom, why the hell is this guy on the... And then we both looked, you started laughing, and then we kind of both looked at each other and said, well, that's why. And
that's why.
McDavid, somewhat poetic, burns by 2 former Oilers.
Nice play by Bouchard on the quick up, too. I have to say, that was a great heads up by Evan Bouchard. Better performance from him tonight, and I think that's a good sign. So credit where credit is due.
So much to get to, Tom.
Lots
There's so
to
many
get to.
moments in this game that kind of changed the complexion of it.
Yes.
But the Oilers, man, when they're, I thought they were the better team on the night. It doesn't even come close. I thought Skinner was excellent.
Yep.
They got a break. Well, there's a couple.
Can I do the turning point, or do you want to continue? Finish.
I just wanted to say there was a couple fortunate bounces for both teams. That's all I'm going to say.
And a couple of missed calls.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Both ways, for sure.
Go ahead with the turning point.
Okay.
I don't want to.
We're going to go to the turning point of the game. I just want to get to it before we bring Belsey on. The turning point of the game, brought to you as always by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. If you have a nagging pain you'd like to see go away, book your consultation today at www.advantagesportsmed.ca. The Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game happened at 10:48 of the third period. Hear me out. The Blues had just taken the lead, had all the momentum, were physically outmatching the Oilers. Edmonton had kind of shriveled up and were sitting back and allowing St. Louis to take over. And Robert Thomas gets set up for a one-timer into a yawning cage and blows it wide. Allows the Oilers to stay in the game. They do that, just that. They score with the goalie pulled, and then in overtime, Edmonton picks up the 2 points. So St. Louis does get a point, but Robert Thomas could have put the last dagger in to one of the vital organs of the Edmonton Oilers on this night at 10:40. He did not. He blew it wide, looked to the heavens, said, my, oh my, what happened there?
Yeah.
That's your turning point of the game, because that the rest, like, it allowed Edmonton to kind of shake itself off and go out there and take the game back. And not to say that St. Louis played it great. They had all the momentum for like an 8-minute stretch there, Hernan.
Yeah, but the game turns on a brutal call on Ekholm. Like, listen.
That was a bad call.
If this is the other way around, I'm saying the same. If the Oilers got that call, I would have been like, that's a brutal call. The puck's there. Schenn touches it. It's so quick that Ekholm thinks he's going to have the puck. So that changes the game. Then a fortunate bounce for the Blues. Let's call it how it is. Skinner makes the first save. Schenn gets the rebound, hits it off the post, crosses on the goal line. No one's on Kyrou on the power play. Boom, it's a goal. That's a big break. So I think St. Louis got a big break, and the Oilers got an enormous break. And
Leon got away with one in overtime. 100% got away with one.
Leon should have been called. He held the stick. That's a penalty every single time. But I think Schenn's hit on Hyman is a penalty. I'm sorry.
So do I. Absolutely. Completely missed that call.
He comes from the blue line, skating all the way in, knowing what Hyman's going to do, and he comes in because he was angry because he got knocked on his butt by Matthias Ekholm. So both teams got the benefit of calls today. Both teams. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a lot on the nasty chat. The Oilers almost got goalied. Oh, what are we talking about?
No way.
What are we talking about?
By Binnington tonight?
Binnington wasn't even that good. Like, come on, people. Like, listen, both goalies were good.
No Joe Wall. Tell you that much.
Stuart Skinner, at one point in the first period, the shots were 9-2, Tom. The 2 shots Skinner stopped were grade A scoring chance.
Even the third one was a great chance.
Yeah. So I told you this before. I was telling you guys in the group chat. I'm not like Skinner. I thought Skinner was really good tonight. If it was, yes, Thomas misses a wide open net, 100%. But Skinner was solid throughout the night. The second goal, Tom, that's just a breakdown from the Oilers' top line.
100%.
You can't let Parayko that wide open inside the circle there. That's unacceptable.
I think they became unglued when Ekholm got called for that. I have not seen Chris Knobloch call over a ref and actually stare a ref in the face, in the eyes, have some choice words for an official. Maybe on one hand, I can count how many times. 1, 2, maybe 3 times, third time tonight in his tenure as coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Haven't really seen him do that. And he did it. And I think he said something like, that's an expletive interference. He expletive touched the puck. Something to that effect.
Yeah, he was like, he's like,
you don't really see him do that.
How the hell is that interference? And I agree 100%. The game turned on that play, guys. That's when St. Louis got the momentum.
It is exactly. Well said. Very well said. The Oilers do win the game 3-2. They do pick up a couple points, and they also put an end to a 2-game slide where they lost in a shootout and then lost in regulation on Saturday. So 2 points back atop the division. They have a game in hand on Vegas. They had the lead, then lost their composure for a 7-8 minute stretch, gathered themselves, tied it, won it, and now fly off to Chicago, where they're going to face the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow night. All right, I'm going to get to the scoring summary, unless you want to add something really quickly.
I'm just having fun right now.
Are you reading the nasty chat or the text line? I haven't really peeked over there that much.
Yeah, they're both going off, but it's overly positive. I think people are finally giving credit to certain players that usually don't get it, and a lot of people are happy because McDavid walked the 2 former Oilers in overtime.
Oh,
freaking Connor Brown, who Hernan was like, why is he out there in overtime? And then he scores.
And I quote, why the expletive is Connor Brown out there back of the net tickles the twine. That's why.
You got to be wrong once in a while, Tom. You know?
I'm glad I found this board.
I know, you're pretty stoked.
Oh, baby. We got to get like the bleep on here, just like we do with the road kit. By the way, we're live on location tomorrow at Boston Pizza, Westgate, 170th Street, 90th Ave. Come join us. Lots of great giveaways and game day specials as well. $5 off medium pizzas, as well as $1 off, I think it's tankards of Molson and Coors Light. All right, let's get to scoring summary, and then we're going to get to Shawn Belle for the breakdown. Text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. No scoring in the first period. The Oilers played a pretty good first period. Like Hernan mentioned, they did get some good saves from Stu Skinner, although he didn't face a ton of shots in the first, just 3. All 3 of them were pretty good opportunities for the Blues. In the second, on the power play, Connor McDavid snaps home his 22nd of the year from Evan Bouchard and Leon Draisaitl at 5:50. We go to the third period now where most of the scoring happened. Jordan Kyrou, 5:12 in, bangs home some loose change on the power play. I think there was 8 seconds left on the PK. Stuart Skinner made the initial save. It hits Shen at the side of the net. He kind of waves at it. It bounces over Skinner's pad. Along the line, Kyrou bangs it home. Holloway with the second assist. Then the Blues do end up taking the lead. Colton Parayko, his 12th of the year, the one-timer off a Robert Thomas pass. Buchnevich, the second assist. Edmonton coming unglued. That goal coming at 8:58. The Oilers do settle down. They pull the goalie, and it'll be Connor McDavid finding Leon Draisaitl. Classic McDavid to Draisaitl in his spot, 37th of the year. Matthias Ekholm, the secondary assist at 17:46. To overtime we go, and 2:33 in, it's Connor Brown calling game on the St. Louis Blues, his 7th of the season, first in 21 games. McDavid, the helper, Bouchard, the secondary assist. Good heads-up play by Bouchard to get the puck up to McDavid and not dawdle and wait around. Shots on goal tonight, 38-22 in favor of the Oilers. Face-off percentage, the Blues dominate Edmonton, 63.8% to 36.2. Face-offs, power play, 1 for 3 for Edmonton. The PK, 0 for 1, so it has given up three
straight
in the last 2 games, 3 straight. That's right. Hits 28-13 in favor of the Blues. Block shots 14 for St. Louis, 13 for Edmonton. Giveaways officially 18 for the Oilers, 16 for the Blues. Takeaways 6 apiece. The final 3-2 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. As we welcome in our game analyst, Shawn Belle, for the breakdown, brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox Trax and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados and won't be beat. See dealer for details at www.southfortchev.com. Belsey. Wow. We can't hear you. You're muted. Did you mute yourself?
Maybe I haven't.
Okay. I'll read some text to tee up Belsey.
No, it's not me.
Reconnect, buddy. Let's go to Mike in Thunder Bay as we await Belsey reconnecting. Mike says, at 2-1, I was preparing myself to hear a ton of complaining about Skinner. I doubt we hear it tonight with the win because even at 2-1, Skinner was fantastic. It felt like every chance the Blues had was a grade A chance. Defense had some major breakdowns. That final save on Broberg was chef's kiss with the Italian thing. From Mike in Thunder Bay. Monty chiming in. Monty says, Monty here again. Absolutely love that we haven't lost 3 in a row since the beginning of the season. However, I feel as though Arvy is getting a massive leash when he hasn't really done anything. This was a game where he definitely could have done something, and it was just like, meh. I don't know, tons of season left, but our free agent signings could have helped out more. P.S. Stuart Skinner was solid, and I won't stand for slander tonight. That's from Monty. All right, we've got Belsey back. Belsey, you good to go?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
You sound very nice. Very, very nice.
Ah, there it is.
There he is. Let's get to the breakdown with Shawn Belle for South Fort Chevrolet. All right, Belsey, what did you think of the Oilers' 3-2 win in overtime in St. Louis?
I felt like it was 3 different situations. Like, you had domination from the Oilers for the first 30 minutes. And then right after the Ekholm hit, whether we think that's a penalty or not, a different conversation. However, the Blues started to push back and the Oilers kind of disappeared, which was very weird. And then, like you mentioned, there was another turning point because as soon as Robert Thomas missed that open net, all of a sudden the Oilers just come right back. They got themselves comfortable. They got themselves back into it. And then they took over the game again. So it was an interesting game. At the end of the day, I think they obviously they played well enough to win. I don't think I need to say that, but I thought like it was an okay game. It was a fine game from them.
All right, I'm going to read a couple texts here, Belsey, to kind of get this in motion. Bronx the Boilermaker says, Skinner should have had a shutout. Well, that's what some will say. Oilers win, and some will complain. Expletive them. Win is a win. Bronx the Boilermaker out. This one I'm curious about. And the Oilers stuck with their 4 lines tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't deviate. We didn't see the bingo balls come out. It was the 4 lines that they rolled in practice, minus Henrique, who was sick and didn't play tonight, so Philp went in. And essentially, that's how Chris Knobloch and Glenn Gulutzan sent the guys out there and didn't switch anything up. So Roland says, do you find the nuclear option just isn't what it used to be? Not one 5-on-5 goal tonight. Belsey.
The lines were fine. They played good. Like, if you look at some of those other groups that were, the lines that were out there, just going back to the game, like in the way we talked about it, like the first 30 minutes, all 4 lines were rolling over the Blues. Like it was thorough. And then all of a sudden, once that hit happened, it completely flipped because it looked like the Blues decided, okay, we're going to wake up. And then everybody kind of dipped. Mm-hmm. So like, I thought the lines were perfectly fine. I didn't mind them. I liked the way that they tinkered. They had, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Perry at times, and then all of a sudden they switched that. They put Hyman there. Like I just thought the way that he utilized the lines was very good.
Okay,
despite the fact that it wasn't, like the secondary scoring didn't really do much.
Right, and lack of 5-on-5 score. I get that. We saw Jeff Skinner get a shift with McDavid and Draisaitl in the third period. Gager sent me a video, or sent Hernan and I a video in the second intermission, and it was Jeff Skinner on the bench, and he looked pretty unhappy, pardon me, and he was swearing to himself. He said something. I couldn't make it out. I had an idea what it might be. Gager gave his thoughts. I think a couple people pointed it out. He looked like he was pissed off, and then he got like the reassuring bump from one of the guys that was sitting beside him. I'm not sure who it was. Is Jeff Skinner making inroads with this coaching staff? Is that a sign that he might get more of a look, or he's building some trust that they throw him out there with Draisaitl and McDavid in the third period when they're searching for a goal? Or is it more of the same? Because like he only had 7.5 minutes through the first 2 periods, and I'm wondering, is he just pissed off about that? Because I thought he was playing all right.
Well, I mean, I'd love to hear what Gager's comments were. And I don't know if they're fit for right now, but
no, they're not.
I think that Skinner has taken like small strides. If you watch that game back, like he back-checked pretty hard on a couple plays where he broke up some opportunities.
Yes.
That's how you're going to get back in the good books of the coaches, that, having that defensive awareness. And I don't think at Skinner's age is he going to now just become this defensive stalwart. Like, that's not happening. But if he can contribute defensively and not, just get caved in from an analytical standpoint, or even from just like an eye test standpoint, I think that's going to go a long way, because we all know what he is. He's a top 6 guy that can finish. And so if he can at least now start to be a little bit more, closer to even on the defensive side, maybe you get a little bit more love. Maybe you get a little bit of a nugget here or a little bit of a carrot there, saying, okay, well, now we're going to go play with Leon and Connor. So you saw that a little bit because he has the ability to score. But I just don't think he's quite there yet from the coach's standpoint to really be trusted with more than, 7 minutes today, 10 tomorrow, whatever that looks like.
But good signs tonight, guys. Like Tommy said, he was out there late. Mm-hmm. He broke up 2 great scoring chances. And the thing on the bench, I watched it a few times, and it looked like he was more frustrated with himself than with how he was being handled.
I wasn't sure how to perceive it. That's why, Nan. So I'm like, is he mad at not playing enough, or is he mad at himself? I didn't see a moment where I was like, boy, what did Jeff Skinner do on that one?
Sorry, go ahead, Belty.
No, I was just going to say I would want to see the video of that and just kind of give a little bit more context. It's hard to kind of give, my opinion on what happened when I didn't really see that play.
Well, I'll send it to you.
That situation.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, he was around the same time as Podkolzin. Obviously, Noah Philp and Kapanen, the lowest. They're both under 10 minutes. But I thought Jeff Skinner, one of his better games, he was noticeable guys, he was noticeable not for his offense, but for his defense. And if we're noticing, the coaches are noticing, and that's what's going to get him. And I think Jack said it on the broadcast, like, this guy, even though he's an older guy, he's a veteran guy, he might have to reinvent himself this year a little bit to continue to play for this Oilers team.
Yeah, without question, he's got to be more defensively aware, and that's just the reality of the situation. So once again, do we think he's going to all of a sudden be just a complete shutdown in a Frank J. Selke nomination? No, but if you're doing things in the right direction, then you're going to build a little bit more trust, and as soon as coaches start to trust you, you're going to get tons of minutes. So that's what I think that they want to see from Skinner is that. If I'm going to play with Connor and Leon, they're going to get liberties. Mm-hmm. I don't need those guys to play as hard defensively, but if you're going to be on that line, then I need you to be able to play and be solid defensively.
Peter in Saskatoon says Skinner was swearing on the bench just after failing to connect on a pretty decent scoring chance. I think he was just mad at himself.
Okay, good. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't pick up on is he mad because he's frustrated with the situation? Did he do it? Anyway, it was noticeable. The body language thing, it has not gone his way this season at all, obviously. So we read into things.
I'm just laughing. Dusty's fighting with everybody on the nasty chat about Stuart Skinner.
What side is Dusty on?
Well, because people are now saying his lateral movement on the Thomas chance wasn't good enough. But I'm like, that was a brilliant play by Buchnevich, whatever his name is. If the Oilers make that play, guys, we're praising the brilliance.
I'd be all over
play.
Bennington for not getting over quick enough.
But Bellsy, you played in the league. Come on, that's a brilliant play. No goalie has a chance on that.
Okay, wasn't that a 2-on-2?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it turned into a guy standing wide open back door, and a goaltender is staring down a guy standing right in front of him. I'm sorry, but lateral movement or not, in that particular situation, I would challenge any goaltender to see if they can make that save, because they have to be set to the shot that's right in front of you. And if he makes an unbelievable play and goes back door, guys, come on. It's too easy ripping Stewart at this point.
When Leon Draisaitl tied it up, I looked at Hernan and I said, I can't believe Bennington didn't get over there. Not good enough.
T-Man says, I don't think Hernan ever played goal. I've never played goalie in hockey. It's all about reading up. Come on, man. Can we give credit to the other team for making a brilliant play?
No.
To stop in front of the net, turn around.
No.
Come on.
No.
This is getting so ridiculous right now. The Oilers won the damn game.
They won the game.
Skinner was good. What are we talking about? Now you got to be a goaltender in the NHL to be able to talk about it? Well, I guess
we have one. We can call him right now if you want.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
Let's go to the Wolf in the inbox, 780-218-9999. The Latino heat is charging up. I like it.
Get it going, Hernan.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get it going. I agree, though. I text you guys and I said that goal is going to be blamed on Stuart Skinner.
I believe you did say that.
Everything's
I did say that. But I'm like, what do you want him to do?
Save it. Make the save.
Okay.
Cujo would have saved it.
Cujo.
I'm being facetious. The Wolf texting in. What? Go ahead.
No, nothing.
Okay, good. I'm going to the text line. The Wolf says, quick. I'd say we finally goalied a team. Better sell Skinner while he's at his highest. Just kidding. In Stu, we trust. Paul texting and says, Bennington is terrible. How does he not stop those? Lost the game for the Blues. Sarcasm in defense of Stuart Skinner. Thanks. From Paul. Anthony on Long Island says that one was too close for comfort. Jason texting and says, Ekholm is such a beast. Praise Jesus. He's on the Oilers. Yes. Good to have him back. Stanley in YYC says, sigh. Way harder than it needed to be. Frustrating that the Oilers played so well and barely squeaked that one out. Take the 2 points and run. Thank goodness Blues player Thomas had Tobias Reeder level of finish tonight. And that's a good reference. Nice dip into the past.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Mac Lamec says, felt like the Oilers got lucky tonight, but I'll take it. And then we'll go to Shaggy in St. Albert. Shaggy saying, started good for a change and we're definitely the better team in the first, but had nothing to show for it. Actually scored first on power play after 1-0 Oilers showed no killer instinct to try and put it away, blow the slim lead, fall apart. Jay Skinner played a good defensive game, and Stu Skinner played good. Second best goalie again. Arvidsson is a waste of a signing. Could have kept Holloway. Another game where they make it harder on themselves than it should be. You guys are going to say that they are first in the division, but they should already be more than 2 points ahead. Hopefully they don't take Hawks lightly, but hey, it's the Oilers, so it is 50-50 that they do what they should. Shaggy with that one. Go for it.
No, I'm going to say, surprisingly, I agree. They did somehow get lucky, considering they dominated most of the game for the third. I thought their first period was really good. I thought that in spurts of the second period, it was okay. I think there was a little bit of a dip in play. Their third period, I think that was when Ekholm took that penalty. I thought they got pushed around. I thought 100%. They were nowhere to be found for about 7 minutes of that game, where they could have very easily lost that game within 7 minutes.
Yes.
And then as soon as Thomas missed that chance, then somehow they settled down. They kind of got their composure back, and then they went back to work. And that's the tail of the tape. Like, I think the Oilers did get lucky because Thomas missed a wide open net. And if he scores that, it is over.
It's game over.
Yeah,
it's game over because they had all the momentum. Luke Shen was running. Brayden Shen was
running around. Yeah,
and good on him. I mean, he got it going. You guys want to see the Thomas miss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have audio, or do you want us to speak over it? Well, we need to speak over it.
You speak over it.
All right.
There we go.
Okay, so we're gonna show. Already pretty aggressive on that one.
Yeah.
And Thomas blows. I can't remember if
Here
it's
it is
higher.
again.
But he's a right shot from the left side. Is that the left side? Yeah. So he's got the angle towards the net.
So, but Belzy, Skinner's playing because Buchnevich is in all alone. He's playing him 1-on-1. That's what he's doing. That's what people are like. Well, what is he doing? Well, what do you want him to go stand by Thomas while Buchnevich has the puck?
Yeah, like to me, I'm looking more at the defensive side of it because it's a 2-on-2. Like McDavid does a great job of getting back. Ekholm plays the guy that he plays, so there's some communication on that back check scenario or that rush scenario for the Blues. But the problem is, as soon as Buchnevich stops, Connor skates by, and then Ekholm decides to double down because it's a grade A scoring opportunity, and he thinks the guy standing wide open in front of the net is pretty dangerous, which is not necessarily wrong. But if McDavid doesn't fly by, it's now 100% a 2-on-2, with potentially that being, shut down and nullified right away. But because Ekholm comes over, he leaves Thomas wide open back door. Not much you can do there. Like, there's no lateral quickness in this world that you're going to possibly get there, and I would openly challenge anyone to that.
Mike in Thunder Bay. I read that one already. The Gourdfather. Couple thoughts tonight. Skinner, some nice saves early. Like to see that. How did Brown sneak out there in OT?
Did he just jump out there, Tom?
Yeah. Dave Lumley. Also, can we talk about Arvidsson? I know he's Ekholm's buddy, but he isn't it out there. Not scoring, making $4 million, signed another year. He's the priority to trade over Skinner in my mind to free up money this year and next. Not sure how he stayed out of the doghouse. Mostly. And I made a comment to Hernan during the game, and I said, man, it is just not happening for Arvidsson right now. And it's incredible to see that the two guys that were regarded the highest for being signed in the offseason in Arvidsson and Skinner, Jeff, have been duds. And Arvidsson is, the way he's played the last few games is just falling into dud category here.
You know what the problem is?
Yeah.
So Arvidsson was going early on. He was the much better player. Now Skinner's finding his groove. Arvidsson's tailing off. Like, the Oilers haven't had them both going at the same time. And Tom,
could you even argue that any of them was really going or is going?
Oh, that's fair too. But what I'm saying is just that I don't think either of these guys are going anywhere. I think that's just wishful thinking.
Yep.
I think they're both good players. But you're right, Tom. Like Arvidsson today, how many times did we look at each other and say, "Man, this guy can't stay on his feet right now"?
Yeah, there was like a toe pick on the power play. Belsey, what are you seeing from Arvidsson?
I feel like he's forcing everything because he knows he's not playing that great. I do think some of those injuries derailed him a little bit, and he was starting to find a rhythm early in the season. He got hurt. Now he just seems like he's trying to force everything, and it's not working out for him at all. Like he's on the ice literally every shift. It's weird. Like I don't understand it, but hopefully he can figure that out because he is a streaky guy too. And once he starts scoring, like he scores in bunches. So hopefully he's just trying to iron out his game before taking off.
Arvidsson's stat line from tonight: 16:45 time on ice, 4 shots, 1 block shot, and no points. That was Victor Arvidsson for the night.
I thought you were going to say like a steal line from, was it Stan Mitchell from the Raptors? Some of these guys come out and their stat lines are 0, 0, 0, and you want to play more?
No,
you can use that one on Arvidsson tonight. That one holds up.
To like a lesser extent, there's with Charles Barkley on TNT, they're talking about one of the Lonzo Ball, and he goes, "Yeah, a triple single tonight."
That's a great line. Great line. Millwood's Matt reminds us that was Connor Brown's first ever OT winner. Great time to pick it up. Ken texting in says, "Guys, I know it's bad form to criticize a win, but is it time to split Leon and Connor? Seems like the last 3 games the Oilers have outshot the opponents, but have struggled to score with the nuclear option." I'll start with Ken. I would prefer those guys start and play on their own lines for the quote-unquote regular shifts. And then you're going to put them out there together after your penalty kills. They're going to get their power play time together. If you need a goal, they're going to play in the third period together in 5-on-5 situations. But in my ideal world, they're out there running their own lines, and that's how you roll them out there. And they're like, guys, Belsey, you would know better than I do, but there must be, or is there data out there that would suggest against certain opponents having those two out there together for regular shifts to start the game is more advantageous than having them split up? That's the only thing I can think of. Like, does the Oilers as a team need a spark right now and need just those two guys to provide it? Because they kind of already do that and already have on their own lines.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to answer that question because I do feel like when the Oilers put those two together, there was an instant spark. But at the same time, like, just to steal a reference from football, like, we want matchup nightmares. And to me, a matchup nightmare is having the game plan for Connor McDavid on one line and then Leon Draisaitl on another line. The problem is that right now Evander Kane is sitting out, and he would be, one of the guys that would be a top 6 player that can go play with either Leon or Connor. Jeff Skinner isn't producing the way that he was brought into because he should be playing with Leon or Connor. And so now there's a situation where it's like, and no shots to Podkolzin in any way, shape, or form, but we've all talked about it. He shouldn't be a top 6 guy anyway. Right. So, like, does Draisaitl really have the necessary players to make that a really, really dangerous, top 6 or 2 lines that you have to, game plan against?
780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. The Oilers 3-2 winners over the St. Louis Blues, with Connor Brown picking up the GWG. What's he doing out there? Guess what, Hernan? Scoring a goal. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle, Hernan Salas with you right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Text us, indeed, 780-218-9999. Nasty chat. Do your thing. What do you got?
Third best team in the NHL right now are the Edmonton Oilers.
Is that good?
I think so. I have a question for both of you because we're talking about this. The Oilers are top heavy. It's like tonight it was McDavid, Draisaitl. They won because of those two guys.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, but like your best players on the Oilers are your best players. Like they're the one. But is there a concern where it's always them? Like rarely when they go nuclear, do the other line show up, guys? Is that a concern for you going forward and into the playoffs if they keep doing this? Because like you said, Belzy, you want matchups in the playoffs. You're playing a team possibly 7 straight times. You can't just keep going nuclear because then that team's going to be like, we get our best 3 forwards that can defend them, our best 2 defensemen. We survive that minute or minute 15 that they're out there, and then we're good.
Yeah, I think it's hard because you're trying to figure that out, and you're trying to put teams in difficult situations, and right now, like, you just don't have that secondary scoring, and it is going to become a problem once you get to the playoffs because now opposing teams can load up their top line and their best defensive pairing and say, okay, you guys are going to go play against the nuclear line, and then from there, let's see if our depth can beat the Oilers. The good news, however, is right now the Oilers secondary players aren't getting destroyed defensively. So that would be the one positive where, for the most part, every night they become an even. And now they're allowing McDavid and Draisaitl to go be those 2 guys. And that's how they're winning games a lot of nights. But to me, it'd be in the playoffs, you know how it works. Like guys in the 3rd, 4th line, they always have to chip in for you to win those games.
Guys, my last question. If the Oilers, if this is the forward group going into the playoffs, say they don't add a forward, are you at the deadline? Are you comfortable with this forward group going into the playoffs? Because last year we saw a lot of guys struggle here, but come the playoffs time, they turned it around. So would you guys be okay if this was the exact forward group going into the playoffs?
Want me to take this one first, Belzy?
Sure.
If this, would I be okay if this is the exact forward
would you
group?
be confident that they can produce?
Okay. I wouldn't be, quote unquote, okay. I would like to see something done on the 4th line at center. A little more experience than Noah Philp. Not taken away from anything that he's doing. He's trying to build his NHL resume and get into that groove of being a full-time day-to-day NHLer. It takes time. That takes time. So I would expect them to add to the bottom 6. Am I confident in this group to be able to get the job done in the playoffs? Yes, because they did it last year. And the playoffs are a whole new season. Guys rise to the challenge. They create special moments. Yeah, you do have to get lucky, but I do have confidence in this group if they weren't going to make an addition. But I think they will, and I think they should. Go ahead, Belzy.
I would say I'm on the fence because I don't think they have enough secondary scoring. And and it's not that I don't actually think they have the players on the roster. I just don't think that those guys have been producing to where I can sit back and say I'm super comfortable knowing that if a team decides they're going to shut down, or they do decide and they can shut down McDavid and Draisaitl, that somebody else right now is going to score. Because if you looked at last season, Hyman was on fire.
Yeah.
So that's just another guy you have to stop. Nuge was putting in timely goals. It was another guy you had to stop. Holloway at that time was putting up timely goals. It was another guy you had to stop. And right now, if you look at the roster construction right now, based off just their points, is there another guy you have to stop after McDavid and Draisaitl?
Yeah,
Connor Brown. I'm kidding. But listen, but I understand, and Belzy, that rationale is sound, and I know that that's probably what 95% of Oiler fans think. We've got 29 games to go before the playoffs, but I am of the mind that when the playoffs come, that some of these guys who haven't been doing it so far this season maybe won't for the rest of the season offensively, 5-on-5, even whatever, that I think that they're capable, and I like the chances of them rising to the occasion where all of a sudden they do become threats to score. And we are talking about Henrique playing better offensively. And we are talking about Connor Brown not going on 20-game goalless droughts. And Matthias Janmark scores on a goalie more than once in a regular season. He actually does it a couple times in the playoffs. Like, I think they have the guys who are capable to do that and understand what it takes to make it happen. Corey Perry's put together a solid season. So that's why I think that, yes, with this group, they can put aside the regular season and have a good season.
Who's the most who concerns you the most after McDavid and Draisaitl at this moment if you're playing the
As a
Oilers?
threat to score?
Yes.
Corey Perry, and it shouldn't be Corey Perry, but right now, Corey Perry. And listen, Hyman's been all right. Nugent Hopkins has been better lately, but Belsey, follow that.
But this is kind of my point, though, Tommy, is like, I don't disagree with you. And I do truly believe that the Oilers have good players and they have good depth, and their forward group is actually a pretty good group. The problem I have, though, right now is if you, once again, rewind to last year and you look at the different circumstances from this year to last year, is that Connor Brown, as soon as he scored his goal, he was starting to play off the charts good.
Right.
Last year. This year, he's got more goals, but his game is more up and down. Like last year, it was building, slowly building. And the minute he scored, all of a sudden he was really good, which just happened to be right around the playoffs. Hyman was already full of confidence. He had his goals. Like he couldn't miss. Janmark was, putting in. He was a penalty killing wizard. And then his game translated because all these guys were feeling the confidence that they had.
He had like 6 points last year in the regular season.
Yeah, but in the PK, he was lights out. And that, like, for him, a guy in his role, that's what he wants to succeed in, and he was. And it just all translated. Right now, like, tell me a guy that is just brimming with confidence saying, man, I can't wait to get to the playoffs because I'm going to light this up because I feel great. I couldn't tell you another player outside of those two. And that doesn't mean that I don't think the players aren't good, and it doesn't mean that I don't think the team can't do it. I'm just saying the scenario in which some of these players went to the playoffs with, even Henrique, he was a top 6 guy. He was putting up points. He comes to the Oilers. He plays with McDavid. He plays with Draisaitl. Then he goes down to the third line where he kind of finds a home. So it's different scenarios. And I don't personally think that right now those guys are sitting there saying, I got a ton of confidence, and I'm looking forward to just revving this thing right up because I feel good. I'm playing good.
Yeah, there's no exact science to it. I agree with you there, Belsey. Okay, I want to bounce these off of you before we go inside the locker room. The Oilers did win tonight 3-2 in overtime over the St. Louis Blues. They will take on the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow. That game starts at 7:52 our time. That's when they drop the puck. Obviously, they have it scheduled as a 7:30. We're on the air live at Boston Pizza Westgate at 6:30. James has a couple of messages via the nasty chat that I just want to get to. James says, Podkolzin produces like a top 6 at 5-on-5, which is pretty much the only time on ice he gets. So him producing like a top 6 at 5-on-5, which is pretty much the only time he gets, I think that's flawed. That's like the whole Jesse Puljujarvi was a good player, an effective player, made Connor McDavid better. Like Podkolzin only plays 5-on-5 now in third, fourth responsibilities, and he does nothing.
He's probably on pace for
He had a couple of hits tonight.
30 points, if that's a top 6 forward.
So I disagree with James, but I understand the rationale. And that's kind of, guys, where I get in these little dilemmas when I hear people bring out the stats, expected goals per 60, high danger chances per 60, and they have it all like strung out over expected per 60. And I'm like, did they do it or did they not do it in the games that they played? Are we like,
you're either producing or you're not?
Yeah. And I understand the rationale why we go expected per 60. But at the same time, I go, you either put up the points in critical moments or during games when you're actually out on the ice, or you don't. Not what you are expected to get, not what you average per 60. Because like Podkolzin tonight probably played 10 or 11 minutes, right?
11, yeah.
He played 11 minutes, 5-on-5, maybe a little bit of shorthanded time. He had one hit. He had 1 block shot and 2 hits, guys.
Are you saying that he
produces like a top 6 per 60 minutes? I give that no clout, personally. But that's just how I look at the game. I know we all view it differently. I want to get to that. And James, I'm not knocking you because per 60, I'm sure it shows, the data shows that he actually produces at X amount of rate per 60. And I go, well, geez, that's pretty good. He should be, if you put him out there for 20 minutes a game, a top 6 player. Guess what? He ain't. He ain't. I'm purposely using poor English grammar. He ain't.
He has, in his last 12 games, he has 4 points, guys.
Nice.
That's not a top 6 guy. I don't care what the analytics say.
But I'm happy he has those 4 points.
And that's mostly with top 6 minutes up until today when he got finally bumped down to the bottom. And again, Vasily Podkolzin belongs on the Oilers. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But he's not a point producer. He doesn't set up plays. He's not a passer. He's out there to muck it up, get physical, and chip in from time to time. That's what he's shown us. That's what the eye tests and his stats show us.
I'm not picking on James, but he has brought up some stats that I just want to discuss.
And I know Belsey loves Podkolzin, so...
I'm actually howling right now because, like, I'm dying at the fact that you guys are just ripping analytics because I don't like him either. I think they're crazy.
I don't think they're crazy. I think they
Salty Tom is probably the best version of Tom. So I want you to spice this up, buddy. Keep going.
I'm not going to
light it up. Light it up.
But Tom, you're and listen, and nothing like if you like analytics, all the power to you. There is a place for them in the game. I understand that.
Yeah, there's great data there.
But to say that the analytics show that he's what was it? That he's a top 6, he's the best, one of the best 5-on-5.
Yeah,
like
produces like a top 6.
He doesn't
player
produce like a top 6 5
for 60.
Player. He does not.
No.
He has 17 points. 19 points, guys.
And then another. James is throwing out stats. So I'm just James again, not picking on you. I'm just using the stats you're providing via the nasty chat. James adds Edmonton 10th best team in regulation wins. Yeah, but they also won the games that they went into overtime, except for the shootout one.
Wait, so we're complaining because they went in extra time?
No, it's just, hey, comparing, like, are they truly top 5? Are they? They haven't gone to 22 playoff game or overtime games like the Boston Bruins did last year and lost 15 of them.
They've played in one shootout, Tom.
Yeah, I know. It was this week or last week. Anyway, Belsey, anything there before we go into the locker room? I'm just like, these are stats. These are stats, and I want to chew on them a bit.
There's stats that they can paint a narrative in any way that you want, and I know. Listen, I'm not trying to bring this poor guy into the chat because he doesn't need to be brought up right now. But like that's telling me the same as like when people put up stuff about Bouchard and his defensive numbers and be like, man, this guy's one of the best defensemen in the league. I'm sorry, but that is not true. Because if you look at if you watch a hockey game and you could be stoned, you could be drunk. I don't personally care what your situation is, but if you watch the game, you know that that's not the best defenseman in the league.
Yeah.
And so that's what analytics is. It's like you're basically painting it to what you want it to look like. Because there's too many variables in hockey, in my opinion, for you to just sit there and look at analytics and be like, okay, you can go purely off of analytics.
You can find anything to fit your narrative.
Yeah.
You can.
You can. It's 100% what that is.
Floating tea leaves via the nasty chat says Edmonton plays too much along the boards and outside. And they do play a ton, and I'm not saying floating tea leaves is wrong, because they do play a lot on the outside along the boards. I am pretty sure it's deliberate that they rim, they go from side to side, and they don't use the middle, they use the wall, and they become pretty effective at it. I think that's more strategy. It is annoying to watch.
It is strategy.
Yeah.
They're trying to just spread out the defenders so that they can now hit some seam passes. Like you can see kind of the rotation every time, for example, Connor McDavid rolls high, Bouchard is like kind of going around him. They're doing basically the scissor play where now one guy's going one way and the other guy's going the other way. And so they're scissoring and then they're trying to attack and they're opening up different holes in the defense. So that's what they're doing. It is 100% strategy.
Yeah, it's super boring to watch, but they're effective at it.
Yep.
All right, let's go into the Oilers locker room. They do win 3-2 in St. Louis. We're debating all kinds of things. A lot of fun tonight. Pretty good for a Tuesday night. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. Gazzola, Belle, and Salas with you. Nancito, who are we going to hear from first?
Who do you guys want the coach or you guys want Leon?
Bellsy, you pick.
Let's go with the coach.
All right. Here's Knobber, who called Connor Brown's name in OT.
Just like you expected him
Much to the what's dismay of Hernan Salas, but it all worked out. Here is Chris Knobber.
Then maybe the opposite potential result.
The other coaches weren't sharing, so I didn't get any. But I'm sure it was.
Your team really worked hard for this one, down 2-1 on the road against a team that seemed to have found their vibe in the third. What did you think of how you tied it and then won it with Connor Brown's first ever OT goal?
Well, first of all, I thought in the first period we played really well. Had a lot of good scoring chances. I think their goaltender kept them into it, and then they played better as the game went on. In the third period, Stu made some great saves to keep us into it, and the turning point was the power play goal that they got. But your best players come up big with some huge plays. One, the game tying goal, Leon and Connor, and then obviously McDavid setting up Brownie on that goal. So it was good that we stuck with it, and we've seen that a lot this year.
That late tying goal, is that part natural and part planned, somewhere in between when it comes to your advantage?
That kind of goal was that's natural. I'd like the coaches to take credit for drawing that one up, but that's just them playing hockey and reading on what's available, and that's elite play. Obviously the pass from McDavid, and then Leon, he had numerous one-timing shots from that area tonight, and one was bound to go in.
All right, there was Chris Knobloch, pretty happy, pointing out he liked his goaltender's performance, some of the big saves he made, the brilliant decision to put Connor Brown on the ice in overtime, just like we all expected him to. And then, of course, giving credit where credit's due, and that's the big guns, which generally get the job done for this team, and that is a great thing to have, honestly. And I think Oilers fans are pretty grateful for Draisaitl and McDavid. Bellsy, anything there that stood out to you?
No, I've been laughing at the nasty chat. They've taken my words and they are running with them.
Maple syrup skid mark. What a handle.
Oh, I'm absolutely dying right now.
I am not going to read what maple.
No, you can't even read
skid
anything.
mark.
No, just
put up there. I'm laughing.
Leave it all alone. Leave it all
that.
alone.
Not fit for air. All right, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. They win 3-2 in OT. Leon Draisaitl with a goal. Connor Brown, the winner. Just roll it, Hernan.
What do you think of the final result?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of an up and down kind of game for us. Thought we were all right in the first, pretty good actually, and then not good in the second, and gave up a couple in the third. So, but fun way to get 2 points, which is all that matters.
One of the things that's changed over the last little while is goalies being pulled earlier, maybe 2.5, 3 minutes in. Have you noticed that? How much of an advantage is that late to know that you have some time as opposed to sometimes in the past 45 seconds?
Well, it's a little bit situational, right? Sometimes you have possession, sometimes you don't, so you can't pull them if you don't have possession. So, we were in their zone and pulled the goalie, and fortunately it worked out.
Gene actually just told Connor Brown that that's his first ever overtime goal. What can you say about the effort that he gave tonight?
Yeah, he was good. Brownie always plays well for us. He's a great player, and it's nice for guys like that to get rewarded in big moments.
What can you say about the relentlessness of this team, especially displayed tonight?
Yeah, I think we dipped a little bit there for a little while. It wasn't our best, but obviously good teams find ways to win hockey games at all times, and to come back from that is obviously shows a lot of character.
Have you become just I guess like human nature or second nature to kind of go into that area where you scored the tying goal from, whether it's a power play or you have an advantage with the net empty late in the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've had a little bit of success over there, and we got some great passers on our unit, so they seem to know exactly when to slide it over, and obviously fantastic pass by Dable.
All right, that was Leon Draisaitl. Goal and an assist, 25-16 time on ice, 8 shots, 1 hit, 2 giveaways, and 43.8% on the dot. I just want to add one thing. While we were listening to Draisaitl, or at least trying to, Hernan had to take off his glasses and wipe his eyes because he's crying from all the stuff being said in the nasty chat.
Oh my God, that's good stuff on there.
Are you okay?
Oh man, it's been a while since I've laughed this much. Well done, Nasty.
And who's coming with me, you hear?
Oh man.
Coming with me!
There we go. That's morning show stuff.
Oh man.
I can't even right now. You can't even focus.
Oh my goodness. Game face, Serenity Now. Text us 780-218-9999. I'm going to allow you guys to collect yourselves as I read a few texts. Timber Woodsman says, I love everyone picking apart the Oilers game. They are third in the damn league. Fun, nonetheless. Thank you, Timber Woodsman. Donnie, oh, that's a mishmash of words and non-words. I'll get to that one later. Taco texting, and hey, Taco, good to hear from you. Boys, do you think the Oil are kicking themselves for signing Klingberg and missing out on Saad? I realize Saad became available after the fact, but if both were available at the same time, who would they have picked? Our D was playing decent prior to the Klingberg edition. Maybe Saad would have been a complimentary scorer. Thoughts? I'll quickly just say this, Taco. Saad also picked the Golden Knights, too. So it's kind of like, I know there was interest from the Oilers, but I'll add this, and Belzy and Hernan chew on this. Even though Klingberg only played his, third game, and it's going to take him some time to get reacclimated to the NHL, game speed, all that stuff, there are some little things that he does and little plays that he makes in his passes that I think he's already an upgrade over Troy Stetcher.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yep. Big time. Like he's got subtle plays. He's patient with the puck. He's got some poise. He's calm, with everything that he does. And it's, to me, I think it's a good gamble, because Brandon Saad realistically scored all of his goals in a span of, I believe it was 3 to 4 games, and no, 3 games. And the other 37 games, he had no bueno. So you're better off going with the D-man, because that's one of the biggest spots you had available. So yeah, you've got to be careful with my words now. Apparently,
keep it together, Belzy.
You created
you set up. Nasty chat is nasty tonight. I love it. Okay, a couple more texts, and Belzy's going to take a look ahead to tomorrow night's game, and then we'll get the player of the game. Well, what has been a fun post-game show, GCL Diesel post-game show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Ken texting in says, analytics should be viewed like weather forecasts. A lot of good historical data used to forecast a probable, not guaranteed outcome. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate the text. What else do we have here? We've had a lot of funny ones. Juan says, hey, Hernan, that was Brown's first OT winner ever. This one from Jay Styles says, Perry, another home run guy, looked like he'd go on a Yager run. I'd like to see Savoy at some point. The AHL All-Star Game is on YouTube. He's got some high-level skills. He definitely does, and I think we will. I don't know if we're going to see him this year. I'd like to see him up this year. I think the situation has to be correct. Belzy, you've been a first-round prospect. You've gone from one organization to another as a first-round prospect. What is the best case scenario for a guy that wants to jump to the NHL but is just making inroads with his new organization?
You got to keep dominating at the level you're at, because the reality is you're not their pick, and you have to do a little bit more to make sure that you're on the radar. The good news is they obviously traded a roster player for him, so that they clearly view him as a guy that can play in the future. So he's going to stay down. He's going to continue to dominate, as he's obviously in the AHL All-Star game. So he's doing some pretty good things. And, hopefully at the end of the year, if he continues to be on that trend, perfectly fine. He can come up to the big club. If not, he stays in the minors and just keeps rolling.
Go
ahead.
I just want to add this stat of the night, courtesy of Brian Swain.
Nice Swinner.
Connor Brown is the first Oilers forward other than McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, or Kane to score an OT since the bubble season.
Wow.
I mean, it's always just Connor and Leon. They usually end it pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. We got to get off air here, man. This is making me laugh.
Is it still?
It's still rolling.
I'm not even looking. I'm just like, I can't, because I don't know what I'm going to see. I'm going to read something that I shouldn't on the air. You guys.
It's so good.
All right, Shawn Belle.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I have seen a few texts worried about tomorrow's game. Edmonton not taking the Chicago Blackhawks seriously enough. The back-to-back situation with a bit of travel. Chicago is 2-5-3 in its last 10. They've dropped their last 2 in regulation. 16, 31-5 overall this season. Good for second worst in the Western Conference at 37 points. That is also second worst in the National Hockey League. What has to happen tomorrow for a win?
They just have to show up and play hard, because at the end of the day, the Blackhawks aren't going to give them anything for free, and so they need to show up and not underestimate that team. I think they're going to go on a streak of 3 here, 3 wins in a row before you get into the 4 Nations break. But they really have to make sure that they come out, start the game off the right way, and then just kind of roll from there.
Bellsy, we had too much fun tonight. Great stuff filling in for Cass as always. I look forward
Nasty
to
chat.
Yeah, see you on the Hangout tomorrow. I'm sure the chat will be buzzing too.
Yep, it will be.
Bye, Bellsy. There's Shawn Belle, our game analyst, with the breakdown, brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. I don't even want to look in the nasty chat right now because you guys,
it's calming down.
You guys,
man,
that adds another great element. That is another beautiful thing about Edmonton Sports Talk is the nasty chat. All right, let's get to Damon Bunting, the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with The Agency. He's a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and has been for 17 years. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Hernan, the Latino Heat, Salas, take it away.
Yeah, this one's going to be an easy one. Skinner was great. Draisaitl was great on the night as well. I thought defensively, I thought all 6 guys looked pretty damn good outside of a few plays here and there. But I got to go with the captain, Connor McDavid. Scores the first goal, finds Draisaitl for the tying goal, dances around 2 guys in overtime to find Connor Brown. 3 points on the night, 24-43. Only 1 shot on net.
It went in, didn't it?
It sure did. So the captain, Connor McDavid, gets the Damon Bunting Player of the Game for The Agency.
The Agency. Very nice. Sheldon texting and says, refs changed the momentum with that horrible call on the Viking. Eck. At least the Oilers tied it and closed it out. Thought Stu played well tonight, too, when it mattered most. Sasky Sheldon. I agree wholeheartedly with everything in that one. Mikey says, I love Sir Thomas Gazzola's takes this evening. Great job, Hernan, St. Thomas, and Shawn Belle. Mikey, number 103 or 105. I've never been called Sir Thomas, but I'll take it. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate that. Thanks for tuning into the show. The Real Not So Slim Shady says, Skinner played unreal. Good, solid road game. And you want to chime in there?
No, I'm good, man. I agree. It's a good road game. I'm not. If remember, I said they're going to go 2-1. I said they're going to lose one of these 2, but I'm probably more confident now going into tomorrow. I like Bellsy said. I think if you show up and you work hard, you're probably not going to lose to Chicago Blackhawks. But if you go in there thinking your skill's going to win the game, you're probably in a little bit of trouble.
Put yourself into a pickle.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a couple more to close out this thing. RBM wrote a long one. I'm sorry I didn't get to it, RBM. I apologize. But he adds at the end, Belle is a beauty. LOL, I am not checking out the nasty chat, but I can imagine. Oh yeah, it's good. Troll says, don't mention a certain sexual act. I will not use that. Ryan from Sask says, keep it or clip it. Has a whole new meaning now. I don't want to follow up on that or look into it at all. And then J Style says, no CRTC here. Kind of true. Technically, they do oversee it, but they just don't bother, which is great. And we appreciate that. All right, Nancito, great work.
Yeah, it was.
You feel
fun
better
tonight.
going into tomorrow? You said that. Final thoughts? Excellent.
It was fun tonight. A lot of viewers after a win by the Edmonton Oilers.
That's great.
I feel like Dusty's going to go on a bit of a rant tomorrow on Stuart Skinner because he was pretty fired up in the nasty chat.
I was checking earlier what like the AI comment was. I'm seeing a lot of scissors in the nasty chat.
Yeah. Hey, Oilers are third in the league. It's good.
They are.
We'll get ready for another one tomorrow. A late one. Let's go.
Okay. All right. A huge thank you to everybody who watched, listened, commented with whatever the hell you guys said in the nasty chat tonight. That was fun. The Oilers win it 3-2 in overtime over the St. Louis Blues. They are off to Chicago. We're on the air live from Boston Pizza Westgate at 6:30 tomorrow night. Come join us. Lots of great giveaways, good food, good buds, all of that tomorrow. We'll see if they can make it 2 in a row. For Hernan and Belzy, I'm Tommy saying have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.